A shakeup in California's political landscape. That's after a state commission approved the final drafts of redistricting maps.
Yeah, to understand who wins and who loses with the new districts, we've got the head of California's Republican Party, Tom Beccaro, joins us this morning. Well, you're not happy with these lines. Why?
Well, they inconsistently applied criteria, and you wind up with ridiculous things like the county seat of Contra Costa Martinez, like the county capital, is up with YOLO and separated from the rest of Contra Costa. That makes absolutely no sense. Burbank is split two different ways depending on the thing, and by and large Democrats gain in areas where it's not justified that they gain.
Now this one was done by citizens as opposed to lawmakers. The complaint has always been, well, that's what Democrats in the majority, that's what they would do. So this one was done by an impartial group. So did the numbers just fall that way? Did you say impartial? Well, there were Republicans on it, there were Democrats on it. Okay, I mean,
there's also a guy named Gambino Aguirre who gave donations to people, and magically those people benefited from the lines that were drawn in the area. You know, they wanted this to work out well. In practice, it didn't work out well, and we have to look at whether it was so bad that we'll do a referendum on some of them.
In other words, go to the voters and say, let's redo it.
Yes.
Okay.
You're also planning on suing, is that correct?
Actually, lawsuits are the hardest part. That would only be for individual districts. So it's not, I'm not favoring lawsuits. The question is whether the Senate maps are so bad or the congressional are so bad that it's worth a referendum.
Well, let's take a look at that, because in the California State Senate, it appears that the way these are drawn, there's a good chance that Democrats could claim a two-thirds majority and basically rule the roost. They would not have to listen to Republicans from taxes or anything, right?
Correct. That's a risk.
And in the state assembly, it looks like things more of a status quo. So you would at least be able to block things.
Which points out the inconsistency, because you have cities that are a part of a community for the assembly, but not the same community for Senate. You're supposed to put two assembly districts and one Senate district over it. That's called nesting. But by not doing that, they created the discrepancy you talked about, which is an assembly which might be status quo and a Senate which is not.
Let's pull the lens back a little bit. Even if you look at these numbers, you're talking about Democrats and independent voters that in a number of districts could go either way. So won't these lines also increase the chance of broader types of thoughts going to Sacramento, whether they be more moderate Republicans, more moderate Democrats on their way to Sacramento?
There are certain areas that will benefit from this and certain areas that will not. It's not, you can't say uniformly across the state because it's district by district.
All right, we do have all of the current plans right now on our website, cbssf.com, if you want to check out where your district stands. Let's change gears and talk a little bit about
behind the scenes.
Yeah, the
presidential politics.
Exactly.
Michelle Bachmann, has she been making moves in California? We see her on the cable news all the time. What is she doing behind the scenes here in California as far as organization and such?
I worked out a agreement with her. She's going to be coming to our convention in LA. She's going to provide a lot of excitement. She's a very dynamic individual. So she's going to be here in California. She's going to excite the crowd.
Mitt Romney. Now he was the perceived front runner. What is he doing? He's got Meg Whitman and a number of people. Is he sort of the status quo guy on the party, or the heir apparent?
What they're doing, what he's doing, quite frankly, what Perry's doing is they're doing a lot of
Rick Perry of Texas.
Yes, they're doing a lot of building block work. They're not out in front of the cameras. They're letting Washington screw itself up, and they'll be running as the outsiders that they are, coming to clean it up. But he's doing the building block stuff. You know, running for presidential politics is a lot of foundational, slow work, building your organization. That's what they're doing. That's what they should be doing.
Now, do you think these guys are going to spend much time here in California? I mean, it's always a place to come for fundraising.
Yeah. Well, meaning they'll spend a lot of time. They'll spend more time here. Mitt was just in California. Rick Perry's been to California 3 or 4 times. Michelle's coming out here. This year they'll be here. In the first quarter of next year, of course, there's all the Eastern primaries, and that's where they'll be.
All right, so as you see right now, just real quick, who do you see has the most building blocks in place? Who behind the scenes is moving the most? Mitt Romney?
Since Goldwater, the Republicans have never nominated someone who hasn't